What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Waste World Podcast. My name is Gage Edwards, here with you again to go over some cool insights from the waste recycling industry. Now, today's topic is one we've covered a bunch of times, but I think having a lot of different perspectives for the topic is important. Today we'll be diving into, you could say it's probably one of the more important, fastest evolving areas in environmental services, that is organics recycling and food waste repurposing. So, as sustainability commitments grow and regulations tighten, companies across our industry, across the country, are rethinking how waste can become a resource. So that shift requires operational excellence, strong partnerships, and leadership that understands both the field and the bigger strategic picture. And I think today's guest is going to do exactly that and communicate that to you in a very professional way. And I think you'll enjoy this episode. So please enjoy it. I am off on the road. I am at the WET conference right now, or the Global Waste Conference. I'm at one of these other waste shows at the moment, learning and meeting new people, hopefully people for the podcast. So if you're interested in hearing more of the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the Spotify feed we have, the Apple iTunes feed. Get on those. Make sure you rate and review and leave a comment. Let us know how you are. Let us know how we are. You can tell us how you are too. And then share the show with somebody. Share it with a friend. Bring it to somebody new and say, hey, you would enjoy this. This is good stuff. Skip the first 3 minutes where this guy just preambles for no reason. Anyway, enjoy the episode. Joining me today is Todd Mathes, Chief Executive Officer of Denali. Todd has more than 30 years of operational experience, including 2 decades in leadership roles across food manufacturing and environmental services. He previously led operations at Terra Renewal Services, one of the foundational companies behind Denali, and served as Senior Vice President of Restaurant Services for Darling Ingredients, a global leader in sustainable ingredient production. Today, Todd combines people-focused leadership with deep operational expertise, all centered around Denali's mission to replenish the earth by repurposing waste. Todd, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Waste World Podcast. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're in a little bit of the same boat weather-wise. I peel back the curtain for the audience. We talked about weather, of course, before we started, because that's what people do when they get to know each other. But I'm glad we're on good terms now, and the weather is kind of dissipating. So it's nice to know.
It's a beautiful day here where I am.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. We got a nice 34 degrees where I'm at, so better than the 27 we're used to, but not as good as I would like.
Well, we're 77 here, so sorry about that, Gage.
How dare you? How dare you? I was having a pretty nice day until that.
Yeah.
Okay, Todd, before we jump into my list of questions I have for you and we really start breaking down what we're talking about today, can you give me an introduction to yourself for the reader or listeners at home who don't know who you are?
Sure. Since this is an interview that involves Denali, I'll just kind of tell you what I do at Denali. I'm the CEO of Denali. Have been for a little over 2 years now. I lose track of time, but I have worked in this space for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I started my career on the other side of food processing, working in poultry processing plants. Mm-hmm. And then I made the switch in, say, 5, 6, 7, 8 years into my career, where I started working on the other side of food processing, which is to manage those things that we don't eat, or things that don't make it into production or are part of the production process that don't make it into a box or a tray, mm-hmm. Or things that we're going to want to consume, but are usable nonetheless.
Right. Now, I guess that leadership journey for you and getting to where you are now. So we're talking 3 decades in operations, 20 years in leadership roles. What lessons do you think you've brought from those previous experiences that still influence how you lead at Denali today?
There's a lot that I've learned from a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think the first thing that and we talk about it here at Denali all the time, we want to operate in a safe manner. So we want our teams and our teammates to be operating safely. We want to be compliant, or meet or exceed regulatory expectations in all that we do. Those are things that if you have that foundation, it's easy to lead teams into success. When you get to the point where you're cutting corners or not thinking about those things first, it's a risky proposition, and we just choose not to do that here at Denali.
Sound advice, I second that.
Yeah.
Now, if we shift gears a little bit to food manufacturing, so you started in food manufacturing and later led Terra Renewal before Denali was formed, correct?
Yeah, I was I think when my tenure at Terra Renewal ended, um, I believe my title was COO.
Okay.
And running operations for that organization. And that organization is actually a predecessor to Denali. And there we hauled and provided disposition for wastewater residuals that come out of the pre-treatment process for primarily food processing facilities. We also did some municipal work and other things, but the bulk of that business had that food processing target.
Gotcha. So how did that operational background shape how you approach waste repurposing and sustainability now?
For me, I learned that if you're providing a service of value to your customers, it's something that can be grown and can be sustained. I learned that at the time we were providing a need into an industry that was necessary. Didn't think about the sustainability aspect of what we were doing. It's not that we were crusaders, around sustainability. We found a solution for a need inside an industry, and that business grew from that. Sustainability, if you think back, I don't know, 25 years, it wasn't a commonly used term. We're proud to have been on the forefront of it. You hate to say, it became cool after we were already doing it. But most people I talk to, when I explain our business and I explain to them what we do, they usually shake their head and say, "Wow, that's a really neat thing that you do."
Yeah, it's like Denali. I don't want to say we're the hipsters to sustainability, but you guys were ahead of the curve. It sounds like
we were.
That's good that you do something in practice. You're just like, oh, this is just the right thing to do, and now everyone wants to do it. But we're already doing it, so
exactly. Exactly.
So speaking to that, Denali's mission is to replenish the earth by repurposing waste. What does that mean in practical terms for customers and communities?
So what it means for our customers is they have outlets for waste, organic waste, that keeps it out of the landfill. So it's really landfill diversion. So for our customers, it helps them meet their sustainability goals, while we believe in many cases actually saving them money. And it also, and for the communities, landfill diversion is a good thing. Not for a number of reasons, but primarily, there aren't that many landfills out there. It's hard to get permitted for a new landfill. We need to be using available land for other purposes, like growing food, and not for the waste of what we're producing. So pulling those materials out of landfills, I believe, is a good thing for both our customers and the community.
Yeah. So that diversion we're talking about, so food waste diversion, organics recycling, those things are gaining a lot of more attention nationally right now. In your opinion, where do you see the biggest opportunities right now, and maybe even the biggest gaps in that infrastructure?
We're trying to fill the gaps. We believe we're the leader in filling the gaps. We have a lot of customers on the front end where we collect the waste. Some of it's done where we will collect it in truckload quantities and take it to a place for disposition, and those places vary. Or we'll run routes and pick up multiple different stores or facilities and then take it back to somewhere for disposition. So that front end, we're very mature in. the back end, we are continuing to find solutions for our customers, building out that infrastructure, whether it be through deep packaging units or or just the end disposition, so we become more vertically integrated as we go.
Mm,
We run a lot of routes and take the waste into third parties who help us. We've got a lot of third party partners. Happy to have them working with us. But we believe the best solution is for us to be vertically integrated and diverse in those solutions. So, for example, having a compost solution, while great, is not 100% reliable. There may be some downtime at the facility for one reason or another, and we need alternatives that aren't landfills. So having in that same ecosystem anaerobic digestion, having in that same ecosystem composting, having the ability to dispose of liquid waste in different ways, it's very important. So we can pivot from one solution to another as challenges arise.
mm, mm. Now, you mentioned collecting there too. So, if we're looking at restaurants and retail partnerships, from your experience, how are restaurants and food service companies evolving how they think about waste and sustainability?
Restaurants are, let's just say first off that the grocery outlets and the restaurants approach this in a much different way.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Restaurants are very focused on getting as much food and food waste onto the plates, onto the trays, that there's not a lot of waste.
Hmm.
Whereas, the retail outlets are trying to do the same, getting more into the grocery sack, and instead of into a waste bin. And but when you are in the process of food production for the masses or mass food production, it's inevitable that there's going to be some waste of some sort.
Right.
You can't feed the world without having a little bit of it. So it's greater quantities on that grocery or retail side and
Hmm.
and lesser quantities on the restaurant side. So it's a different sale process, and the dynamics are much different. We have found, though, with feedback from our grocery customers, that they actually can save money by participating in our programs,
Mm.
by redeploying labor that they might have associated with, throwing food away, and redeploying that labor into finding the food before it becomes distressed to keep it, rolling, keep it into the marketplace or donate it before it becomes waste. So what we have seen on the food waste side is our tonnages actually go down a little bit as we've grown
Mm.
on a store by store basis. And I think that's a good story. I think the fact that we're providing them services that allow them to do things, services and data that allow them to adjust their activities to reduce the waste that's inside their facilities.
Yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say, and the great point is cost saving. So I feel like when I have a lot of these conversations, people are like, well, if we're saving people money, they're no more inclined to do this stuff, or like showing them that they can save money by taking part in these programs. I think
yeah,
that's a key to getting a lot of these people on board.
yeah.
Um, cool. And okay, so now repurposing organic waste, like you had just mentioned, it's not simple. There's logistics, we have contamination, we have regulation to think about. What do you think are the operational challenges when scaling this kind of business?
You know, Honestly, our biggest operational challenges are misunderstandings
Hmm.
of what we do. So community concerns that might arise as we, start up a facility. Sometimes there are there's a misunderstanding about what it is that we're handling, and people will like to try to call it something that it's not, make it sound like it's toxic or harmful, when in
Hmm.
fact it's just food waste. It's just stuff that we would normally consume in some way or another. It's all organic in nature. um, So we have to be conscious of that as we go into communities. We have to, we try to educate folks as much as we can about our activities, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and be good operators. If we're good operators, we likely aren't going to hear a whole lot.
Hmm.
Uh, but we are faced with challenges every day. That is probably our greatest challenge. Second greatest challenge is before that, though, getting permitted and getting the permits put in place and to get us started up to go.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, if we're looking sustainability and business performance, now with your customers, do they see sustainability goals being a tough balance with profitability and operational efficiency, or does those things kind of come hand in hand?
It varies from brand to brand,
Hmm.
store to store. Um, it's we are finding that the sustainability arm inside every organization is becoming stronger and stronger, not weaker and weaker. And really it really doesn't matter what the regulations might be or who's in office, who's not in office.
Hmm.
It's whether or not there is that commitment at that national level for sustainability goals.
Gotcha.
Um, but it's different inside every organization. But we're lucky in that we can provide a sustainable service that likely will save them money at the same time. So we're
Hmm.
we're very fortunate.
And you see that sustainability or environmental responsibility is a competitive advantage for these businesses?
They would find it, I believe. I can't speak for all of them, but
Sure, sure.
they find the data that we provide to them that they can put into their sustainability reports for investors and others, I think
Hmm.
a valuable tool for them.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned tools. That's going to segue into my next little spot here. I'm talking technology. What role does technology play in Denali's growth? Are we talking routing, processing, traceability, data transparency, everything?
So yeah. For us, routing is key.
Hmm.
We need to be able to operate efficiently, and we have, a decent sized logistics team that's constantly adjusting our routes so we can
Hmm.
save miles and time. So that is key for us. Market outreach is very important to us. So on the marketing side, and our ability to sell, there's a lot of technology involved there. Um, we we do supply reporting to our customers, so data capture and packaging that data in a way that's valuable to our customers. We do that through some technology. Um, I'm sure I'm actually inventory control. We
Hmm.
have at some of our compost sites and our feed sites, we take inventories with drones. Um, that then go into our accounting process. So there's quite a bit that we do. I can't possibly think of all of it right now,
Sure, sure.
but I'm sure there's more to share.
Yeah, I think when you get into technology talk, it's like, well, what isn't technology around here anymore? It's just there's so much of it, but like, these are the key factors. So I think that is good that like, oh, it's an overabundance and it's a good problem to have. We have so much going on.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take a dig at our IT guys while we're talking. Just managing the IT guys. That's always fun, right?
It's
They
always fun.
they always have big ideas.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I get a little loose with them, but you know what? We have a good time. All right. I know we're only halfway into February for 2026. I can't believe it's almost March already. Looking at this year and beyond, what excites you about the future of organic recycling and Denali's role in it?
I think it's a growing market
Mm-hmm.
and it's mostly untapped. And the fact that we are leading the charge in food waste diversion from landfills is very exciting to me. Being trying to stay ahead, not staying ahead of our competitors. I wish our competitors well, but
Mm-hmm.
but being on the front end of having the routes run and the infrastructure in place so we can manage that going forward, attacking that very large marketplace that currently is untapped, is exciting to me. And I think give us 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the business. Let's talk again
Sure.
because the business will look significantly different at that point.
Yeah, I think that's something that excites me is that I had the same conversation or talk to the same person a year from the first conversation. It's like, wow, you won't believe what we've done. And it's just, everything's different now and big and exciting and things are
Yeah.
moving quickly. So I,
Yeah.
I look forward to our future conversation when you're like, wow, things are awesome.
Well, we think that the current technologies are we see solutions coming our way, and some of them work and some of them don't. But
Mhm.
some of them I get more excited about, and some of them I think, well, we've seen that before and probably won't work.
Yeah.
So
We know
it's
not to go down that path again.
that's right. We try to stick with proven technologies
Mm.
as we service the needs of our customers.
Gotcha. That's also sound advice.
Yeah.
Todd, that is the end of my questions. Congratulations. Is there anything I didn't cover today in these questions that you want to go over with me and kind of throw my way?
I don't think so. I think it's important for your audience to know that there are groups out there that are trying to uh, you know solve problems that
Hmm.
are useful for not just our customers but for the general public.
Hmm.
Um, if you look at the material that we handle on the front end and what it becomes on the back end, a lot of folks don't realize that hey, they might be buying a bag of mulch or a bag of soils at one of their local retailers, and it's actually something that came off a plate somewhere at some point. I think the more we educate the general public about what's happening and what we're trying to do, I think the easier it's going to be for all of us.
Yeah, I think that is key. Education is a crux of a lot of these conversations I have also. It's just we can need to make sure everyone knows what is going on and how it's happening.
Right.
um, well, cool, Todd. That is it. Where can people find more about Denali and maybe yourself and kind of get in touch with you guys?
Uh, you know, you can always look at our website.
Sorry.
Go to denalicorp.com.
There you are. So yeah, we'll send people to denalicorp.com. They can check out all the cool things happening with you guys and get in touch there. Well, Todd, thank you for joining me today. I hope things stay bright and sunny down there in Dallas and no more ice storms come your way. Hopefully, I think we're beyond the winter period for you guys, right?
Well, you never know. We might get one other smack in the face soon, but
I hope not. For your sake, I hope not. Well, thank
yeah.
you again, Todd.
All right. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of the Waste World Podcast. Huge shout out, huge thank you again to Todd for sharing his insights on leadership, operational excellence, and the future of organics recycling. A lot of good insights today. Make sure you take some notes, take some of these tidbits home with you. As food waste reduction and sustainability continue to move to the forefront of business strategy, conversations like these highlight the real world work happening behind the scenes to turn waste into value. So, again, if you enjoyed this, if you learned something, be sure to subscribe. Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast service you use, we are likely there for you to find us. Leave us a review on those platforms. Visit waste360.com for more industry news, insights, and upcoming events. Just like the events I'm at right now. There'll be coverage of all of those on the website. Maybe even podcasts from there. I'm not sure yet. We're gonna find out on the fly. Anyways, I'm Gage Edwards. Thanks for listening. And remember, it's our world. Let's not waste it.